Kids, isn't it always important that we make wise decisions? What's a wise decision, you might ask? If you have wisdom, that means you're wise. Wisdom, I've always said, is seeing things the way God sees them. Sometimes when we do things just for us, it ends out bad because it didn't help anybody else or it hurts somebody else even. If you make wise decisions, you're living God's way. And that's what our verse today asks us to consider. It's out of 2 Timothy 3:14. But as for you, continue in what you have learned and firmly believed. You know those who taught you. Paul was writing this saying, listen, you know the good stuff you're supposed to do. Hold on to that firmly, just like this post. Don't be shaken. Sometimes the wise thing to do is maybe dangerous or not safe or scary. Think about if you go to school and there's a kid that's sitting all alone by themselves. Would you be nervous or scared to go over to that kid? Maybe. But wouldn't it be the wisest thing to do to try to invite them into your group or for you to go sit with them so that they would have somebody to eat with? Think about doing chores or things around the home. I don't think it's scary, but you may not want to do it. But it's the wise thing to do to help your family. There's all kinds of things that we don't want to do, but it may be the wise choice. And so that's why Paul is saying in this verse, hold on firm, because if you do the right things for the right reasons, it's going to come out okay in the end. So our Bible story for today talks about if Jesus died for us, what should we do then? Should we stay with him or just be glad that he gave us that great gift that we can be saved? Well, today he talks about what to do after the fact. And should you live according to his way or according to somebody else's? And I've invited two friends along to help us out. So the story began with another story called a parable. And a parable was just another story that Jesus would tell to help you understand a bigger point. He talked about two builders, one that built his house on the rock and one that built his house on the sand. Jesus began by telling the crowd that everyone who heard the words he spoke and acted on them would be like the wise man who built his house on a rock. The house had a strong foundation, so that when the rains fell, the rivers rose, and the winds blew against it, the house did not collapse. However, those who heard Jesus' words but did not act on them would be like the foolish man who built his house on the sand. His house did not have a strong foundation, so when the rains fell, the rivers rose, and the winds blew against the house, and it came crashing down. So picture this. One guy builds his house on the rock, another guy builds his house on the sand. Let's see what happens when some rain comes. And this isn't ordinary rain, but think of your life. Maybe there's somebody that's a bully, and they make fun of you. Maybe something happens in your family and you kind of get scared. Uh-oh, he's already fallen once. Let's see if we can get him back up again. Well, maybe you think that you could bottle yourself up in all your bad decisions. Your bad decisions won't hurt you. You're all enclosed. The sand's fine as long as you've built walls around you. Well, what happens if the rains come then? You may be okay, but you can still see the ground around him sinking. He is sinking into the sand. And still can't make it out. No matter how you stack it, the sand will never be a good foundation. Jesus' way and his wisdom is always going to be the best. It's time to practice our Bible verse one more time. Remember these two guys as you continue the rest of your life. One made great decisions and he could stand under a lot of different pressures. The other guy, he folded in every situation. Their big difference was one relied on Jesus' promises and was wise, and the other one did not rely on his promises. Our verse says, I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Stand with Jesus and he won't let you down. You'll stand with him forever. This is our last day of VBS. Isn't that crazy? I hope you've had a great time and had a lot of fun. You can go ahead and open your day 5 pack out of your box. There's a game included and the instructions are there and a snack. It's like a double bonus to end your last night the right way. And finally, I want to encourage you to find a local church if you don't already have one. If you're local in our area, you can come to ours and we'd love to have you. But if not, we still want you to find one close to you. And don't go just for the people. We're just like Paul, we're just like Matthew, sinners, but we're standing on the solid rock that is Jesus Christ. If your church believes in Jesus, you're on the right path. The rest of us, just like the man on the rock, are just trying to stay afloat in this world and make wise decisions by following Jesus. So check that out. So it's not just this week that impacts you, but it's all the rest of your life. Follow Jesus and you won't go wrong. While Paul was in prison, King Agrippa came to visit Festus, the local governor. A tomb was like a big cave, and they actually rolled a huge stone over the opening. So it was sort of like this cemetery that we're in now, and we're in front of a toll booth. If you know what this is for, people that come in and out of our town have to pay money to travel through on the roads. Today we're going to learn about a story where somebody